In the upper left now, in the blue, the best Terran player in the world for onside gaming. It's Maru. And the bottom right in the red for Berlin International Gaming, Mauer. It's showtime. And as we find our way here into Group A, once again, that's what we've been talking about. This is a matchup that I think is interesting. Certainly, you might expect that Maru, as, again, the odds-on best Terran player in the world, we would expect him to be the player that wins this. But of course, he did lose to MaxPax earlier on in the group. And on top of that, while ShoWTime did lose to Serral, and that's important to talk about, ShoWTime put up an incredible couple games against Serral that I think if it's any Zerg that doesn't say have a, was it a 91% win rate against Protoss, or 91% win rate against Protoss players, and really since the start of this year, ShoWTime wins those games. I think it was razor's edge, super close. So ShoWTime is in a fine fettle. He's playing tremendously well here in Group A. But the thing we have to worry about, as we often do, is the fact that this group is a true murderer's row. It's Serral, it's Maru, it's MaxPax, it's Gumiho. By the way, yeah, you know, Gumiho might not be on the same level as those other three, but Gumiho was top 2. He played against Serral in the ESL Jönköping finals and played a very good series. So even the prospective 4th place player is looking really, really solid. But for now, well, we're going to have to see what ShoWTime has in store for us. Let's fix this 1 second. There we go. Thought I'd done that. We're good. So now the question is where does Maru go from this? Because he has gone, you know, he's proxied this Reaper on the map, but he's got plans here. He's got a Marine on the map here as well, and that's a little bit more committed than we're used to seeing. But on the flip side, ShoWTime has not built a Nexus. It seems like he wants to counter power with power here, at least for now. He's got the probe. He's got, oh, there was a red dot on the map, but he's got the probe on the scout. It feels like he wants to proxy here. The lack of a natural and the lack of a probe going down to the natural for quite a while, it feels like Maru's kind of already gotten what he wants. I mean, this natural is delayed. Not only did ShoWTime get his gateway, not only did he get his cyber core, and like a gate cyber expand is not the oddest thing, he got gate cyber and a Stargate. And this natural is going to be done right around the same time. Well, the Stargate's going to be done right around the time that this natural gets started. So for ShoWTime here, his economy, whether it was because he saw the Reaper early on and was worried about the proxy, or because of his own plans about how to deal with Maru, ShoWTime's economy is slow in this game. It is not in a good position in this game, so he's gonna have to get a lot of damage with the Oracle, and against Terran players, Oracles just aren't very good. They take 3 shots instead of 2 to kill off any SCV, and now the Adept's gonna find its way in, and Maru is aware of this, by the way. He saw the Stargate early on. This is that confirmation, and he's gonna get a probe. He's gonna try, but no. Adept Shades on top, that's fine. ShoWTime needs to get damage done with this, right? This is a very slow natural. His natural is going to be done right around the same time that Maru floats his command center over to the natural. And he got his command center on the high ground. That's just not very fast at all. So these Oracles, they have to get a lot. But as I said earlier, it's 3 shots to kill an SCV. Oracles do not kill workers, or at least Terran workers, nearly as quickly as they kill drones, as they kill probes. So ShoWTime's going to commit to 2. That means you 2-shot. Anyone else, it would mean you 1-shot. And now we're just going to have to see how much power they have. Maru's aware of this, by the way. He knows what the potential is. He got a Cyclone. He got Vikings. This army that Maru has with these 2 Cyclones, with his Viking, it's more than enough to deal with the Oracles by themselves. So ShoWTime is he getting ready for some sort of oddball push? I mean, he kept the Oracles at home. He's dropping stasis traps here. He is playing. I mean, I know he's demount. I know ShoWTime is just known for his defensive play, but this is taking it to a new level. This is high. I can't help but worry here that ShoWTime's just kind of shooting his foot to spite his face. He has put himself so far behind. I mean, yeah, he's up 5 workers, but he should be up 7 to 10. He's committed so hard to this early game tech, and now it's 5 minutes, and he's going into what we can assume to be Phoenix Colossus, but the Robo base only just now getting started. There's no 3rd base here. it's double Oracle into Phoenix. So the Phoenix count by the time that Maru gets ready to move out is going to be, well, it's going to be slow. We're at 1 Phoenix right now. There's a second one on the way. So Oracles are not, or Ravens are not going to be an easy snipe target here. And ShoWTime, I mean, I guess it's going to be hard for Maru to push him, but at this point, it doesn't feel like Maru has to. Just take your third base, Maru. You got stim. You got +1. Combat shields will be on the way. Your economy's fine. Your opener, just by how ShoWTime has chosen to respond by itself, is going to be enough to put you in a good spot, or at least put you in good stead in this game. So for now, at least, nothing stopping ShoWTime, or nothing stopping Maru from just really being happy. Now, of course, we should point out that oracles are not just for killing workers. They have a lot of utility, especially as we go on to 5, 6, 7 minutes in this game. So we see the stasis traps going down, their vision, their map control. They can prevent run-bys, they can prevent aggression from Maru, and if it's a really good one, it can win a fight for ShoWTime in and of itself. You stasis half the army, the other army runs in, you get a Colossus out, it's great. But Maru does have Ravens out, and that theoretically should mean that he's aware of these things. The scan gets dropped, just sees that there's a robo, doesn't see much of anything else, so it's not a scout on the Colossus play. That much is for certain. But now Maru is well aware of what's happening here. He gets a double lock on there. It's a dead Oracle. 0 damage done, and the Oracle will fall. And by the way, with the Raven here, there's a scout. He sees the stasis traps everywhere. Maru is now going to be very aware of the type of game that ShoWTime is thinking about playing. So as he moves out here, the Ravens should lead the army. And again, realistically, it's only 3 Phoenix. The 4th one halfway done here. This shouldn't get that much done. Now a lock on, and that's going to be a stasis. Yeah, both Cyclones are going to get stasis upped a little bit, but now there's a scan. Maru knows where the stasis trap is on the right side. I think we're going to see him just siege up the tanks in the middle. Okay, but for now, actually, he is going to siege up on the right side here through the doodads, try to get what he can. Stasis trap triggers itself. Tanks get the rest of them. So this army, this setup that ShoWTime has worked so hard to build up here with the stasis, with the oracles, is really finding no gain. Oh, well, Phoenix are going to take some damage. It's all about this timing. It's all about this army coming out of ShoWTime right now. His charge isn't done. Extend Thermal Lance done now, though. And that might have to be the plays. Meanwhile, Oracle is getting some damage now. It's going to get 4 workers. It's going to get 5. That's something, but it's out of energy now. Not all that useful. And now the slow push from Maru continues here in earnest. Further and further forward. The Widowmine's trying to target there. Nice retarget there from Maru, but it's not going to be enough. And, well, at least 1 Widowmine gets baited out just a little bit. But we're looking at 4 tanks. We're looking at 4 Vikings here. This army from Maru just gets scarier and scarier. And the best thing about this, he's taking it slow. He doesn't feel the need to really commit to this because he knows his army will just get better as time goes on. ShoWTime, he's waiting for charge. That's his timing. And you know, the Phoenix on the backside are nice. They're going to pick off a Marauder. I guess that's valuable. But the Vikings are going to run forward here. Colossus taking damage. Shield battery overcharge has to get popped at the natural, which means this third base is going to take itself a little bit more damage. The bio stims backwards, and here come the tanks. The shutdown on all of the Colossus, and this is the push that Maru's been fighting for this entire time. The Zealots, though, they're going to get on top of the tanks, and every single one goes down. I've been talking about how this army from Maru is just oh so powerful, and ShoWTime's not ready for it. Well, the tanks go down in an instant. And even with the shutdowns, even with the Vikings and the Ravens and everything else, ShoWTime takes an incredible fight. He doesn't even lose the third. Here's what I know. I mean, ShoWTime's patience there is absolutely gonna get rewarded. He doesn't lose a single Colossus. I mean, I guess he loses an Immortal, and that's something. But the third base stays alive. He gets so much of the bio of Maru there. 22 Marines go down, but most importantly, all the Vikings and all the tanks fall. So this tech that Maru had, it's gone. It's done. It's really not what you want to see out of Maru. He's adding in 2 more barracks there. Does he have a third base? No, yeah, this is a 2-base all-in coming out of Maru now. He wants to commit. He doesn't feel like he can take this game late anymore. His natural hit or his third base is too slow, or at the very least, he can take his main base over to his third, and maybe that's going to have to be enough as the Oracle sees the Cyclones and should be... Oh, no, last shot. Last shot gets out. Never mind, it won't get out. And now ShoWTime... He's getting ready for a push of his own. He's got Archons on the way. By the way, there are no ghosts. there really is nothing to deal with these Archons. So they're going to be these big beefy boys in the front line that if they get on top, they do damage. But even still, regardless, they just soak so much damage out of this army of the Terran. So Phoenix, they get a couple more workers. And ShoWTime, we talked about how that Oracle damage didn't seem super relevant at the time because, well, it was all about the push. Now it absolutely is. Now that damage coupled with the Phoenix means that that Maru is down 15 workers, 16 workers. Actually, it's 17. Now the economy really drips and drabs. So Maru's just going to pull the SCVs here. Not all of them. Well, okay, never there. There we go. Here come all the SCVs, and now it's going to be hard contain with the missile turrets as well. Here, Archons wedge their way forward, try to get damage onto the Vikings, but it's not going to be enough yet. ShoWTime, though, he's going to look to try to find that angle. Random SCVs on the right side are going to be annoying, and the anti-armor missile is going to get popped for now. So, yeah, ShoWTime has to give up his position for the time being, but the Zealots are now going to find their way in anyways here, and ShoWTime is going to try to take the fight. Archons need to get on top of these Vikings, but they're not there yet. Even still, these Zealots, as they run forward, are powerful, and more join the fray. One Colossus will fall, but we still have two here. And Overcharge, I think, is still ready. I think it's still waiting. Okay, not quite, actually. It's going to be a little bit longer here, but these two Colossus by themselves are powerful indeed, and the Viking count has been thinned out by quite a bit. The tank, well, the tanks will get the Nexus. Even still, though, the Zealots run forward. Immortals firing here as well. 10 SCVs dead. Those are the ones that are pulled. And again, the tech here of ShoWTime is so good. It's so powerful, and at this point, there really isn't much for Maru anymore. The Colossus have to be careful. Sure, fine. Maru, he proves why ShoWTime has that name. He proves why ShoWTime's the wall. Because Maru just can't push through. Game one goes the way of Demour. ShoWTime holds on. Maru up 1. And now into game number 2 here in the bottom left. In the blue, he's down a game. The push just didn't work. It's Maru. And in the upper right, in the red, up a game. Stonewall, brick wall play. It's ShoWTime. And man, if you're a Maru fan, if you are a Maru fan in this game, you're not happy about it. Because this is altitude. This is a very good map for Protoss, especially a Protoss that plays the way that ShoWTime does, which is just solid defensive play, sitting there on the map, letting Maru crash into him over and over again. Well, on a map like altitude that is long, that has this natural ramp, that has the ramp outside of the third, that has these 5 levels of play, I mean, ShoWTime can just sit here, open Stargate once again, play defensively, and be very happy about how that works out. Theoretically, I mean, Maru is still, he's won 7 GSLs for a reason. He still is this incredible player. I'm curious to see what he has in store for us in this second game, because game 1, he went and said, yeah, I'm going to proxy Reaper. I'm going to delay your natural ShoWTime. I think he might have canceled the Marine. I'm not sure, but at a point he was thinking about rallying Marines out, and he said, yeah, this is how I'm going to play. Okay, Maru, that's fine. It didn't work out. ShoWTime, he went Stargate before his Nexus, before his natural Nexus there. He got those Oracles out super early and realistically found almost no value with them. But he held on just well enough there. Shield battery overcharge at the right time. Buying enough time for Colossus at the right time. And that push from Maru just eventually stalled out. And ShoWTime, you know, he got everything he wanted. He got more. The Zealots got on top of the tanks. And that really is the big thing. The tanks, they were exposed. They died very quickly. Like all 4, it wasn't a true tank line. It was, well, it wasn't a stagger tank line. They were all at the front. So the Zealots got on top of them pretty much as quick as possible. And then, well, they died. And that is not what you're looking for if you are a Terran player. You want to keep those tanks alive. You want them to get shots up, especially as you're at that 4 and that 5 tank count, because it's 3 or 4. It's 3 tanks really. That one shotter, it's like 1.5 volleys that kills a Colossus, even through shield battery overcharge. So once you get to 4, once you get to 5, that massive amount of tanks makes it very hard for Colossus to play. But that wasn't the game that Maru was able to play. And in this game, Maru is taking a page out of Bjorn's book. This is fun. So this is a build that Bjorn will throw out once every 10 games or so, maybe. And there are a couple of variants. It seems like Maru, it seems like he's going to stay on the 2 racks version. There is a 3 racks version. But effectively what Maru's doing is he's trying to have his cake and eat it too here. He's going to open a barracks, right? As one does. You build a Reaper, you build some Marines out of it. That's fine. And okay, no, it will be the 3 racks after all. Normally you get that before 3 minutes, but are just a little bit slower on it. So anyways, he gets the first barracks, and then he's going to go and he's going to get the natural. Or he's going to get his second command center. And then he's going to get his third command center, like 215, 220-ish, really as fast as possible. And then you add the barracks in afterwards. And it's this 3 rack stim timing off of 3 command centers, 3 orbitals. So yeah, your tech is delayed a little bit. Your starport is delayed. You can't get into Vikings as quickly. Your medevacs are a little bit slower, but you have a ton of bio early on, stim combat shields. You have a ton of economy, 3 mules at a time here. And now ShoWTime, he gets the scout off. Well, kind of. He sees the 3rd barracks completing, and that might be enough to tip him off. The timing on the 3 racks. Again, the 3rd barracks is a little slower than if this was just a pure 2 base 3 racks play. But we're going to have to see if he truly is ready. So for now, 4 gateways are getting added, and he's not getting that 3rd base, dropping the Temple Archives. Even more gateways here. I fear that ShoWTime may have actually bought the farm a little, or bought the idea a little bit too hard. He needs to know that there's a 3rd base. He needs to know that there's a 3rd base on the way, because that's the difference between a Maru that wants to commit a little bit and wants to commit a lot. So now, well, Oracles are going to dive in. These Marines are going to fall. They're just not enough of them. And with this timing coming on in, that's a really nice idea. We're going to see a couple SCVs go down here as well. Oracle. Ooh, ShoWTime. That's not what you wanted there. You need those Oracles. You need every early game unit to defend against this one. But now ShoWTime at least knows what's happening. He knows that this is a 3 racks play. He knows there are 3 command centers behind it. And he's going to fight fire with fire here. He knows that any sort of units out of the factory are going to be very delayed. The factory's only halfway done. There's no starport. So he's getting adept claves. He's got a gateway on the way on the right side. He wants to find this army, kill it off, flood into Maru's natural, end the game. Simple as that. And let's see whether Maru gives him that privilege. For now, Maru's army is on the map. He's got to know that he's scouted out here, so I don't know that he's going to commit super hard. But ideally, ShoWTime, he wants to have an Oracle constantly tagging this. He wants to know where this army is. But he's okay. Actually, he's okay with this. This is cool. I thought he was going to kill the army if shade across, as that Oracle has to be careful. No, he's just warping in Zealot or Adepts on the right side. He's going to take Maru's army on the middle of the map here and just flood right on in. But is Maru ready? So there is a bunker. It's not ready just yet. More Adepts are going to show up right here. They're going to shred this army. Maru, he's got to run home. ShoWTime. This is a great timing right now. Meanwhile, STV's on the other side. Half the army of ShoWTime only. Bio's going to get on top of this. 6 workers go down. And ShoWTime needed to bring the army together. He pulled the trigger just a little bit too early. And now these Adepts, they shade across. They shade out. He's going to take the army on the right side. Yeah, that's fine. These Marines will fall. But I'm worried now that this army that ShoWTime has, the bunker's ready. There's no wall, or there's no opening in the wall anymore. They're just going to have to shade on top of this bunker. They're going to try to bust this thing down. I don't know. I don't know that this is going to be enough. 1 shot, 2nd shot. Yeah, ShoWTime, even if he busts through this, he's going to lose a lot of Adepts. But now, even still, he does get through it. And SCVs, they have to get pulled. So here's the shade. It's ready. We have another warp in, though. Getting ready from ShoWTime right now. He's going to get right on top. Stim, once again, these Marauders just soaking so much damage, and Bio is going to kill everything. ShoWTime here, he overcommitted to this. He didn't quite pull it off with the value, with the skill, with the ability that he needed to. And now there's no way anymore. ShoWTime, he's committed hard to this. This is a 2-base Glaive Adept all in, and Maru has his wall. He's got the bio. He's got the medevacs now. +1 is done. ShoWTime's timing has been lost. Now, there was a world where ShoWTime did this perfectly, and he got everything across the map, and he found the value that he needed. He killed the army, but Maru was just too prepared here. He immediately rewalled when he saw what was happening, and yeah, you know, the Adepts are going to try to shade in. A couple of them are going to find their way in, and maybe a couple more SCVs will fall, but Maru's equal on workers. He's got that 3rd base. He's properly mining out of his 3rd. When Adepts are on the map and he still has to be careful about this wall, Maru's fine. He's got 3 mules. He's sitting here on 45 SCVs. His army supply is maybe not as good as it could be, but he's got a wall to retreat back to. He's got medevacs. Bio is finding their way in once again, and there's a tank halfway done. With this +1 attack here from Maru, Stim, combat shields, everything else, this continuous all-in coming out of ShoWTime, I mean, he has to jump on top of this army. Trust that Maru's not going to pick up, I guess, and maybe make that happen. But now the shade completes. Maru, you know what? He actually does botch his pickup a little bit. But again, reinforcements start to arrive, and supply depot falls, but the tank's ready now. And this tank really should be the end of it all. Adepts think about shading forward, but it's not going to be enough. And the one question I ask myself now is why is ShoWTime not pressuring the third? Maru had the Maru should not have been allowed to mine out of this third base as he's holding his natural as well. That's kind of the big thing that he has. So again, the adepts are going to shade in, but with the tanks here and the bio and everything else, this is going to do it. ShoWTime will fall. But I felt like he had room. I felt like he had opportunities in this game. Unfortunately, not quite enough. And ShoWTime, well, he falls down. Maru ties the series up 1 apiece. And now for the last time here in this best of 3 in the bottom right on Grespon, the best map in the pool for Onside Gaming, it's Maru. And in the upper left in the red, looking to make the upset happen, it's ShoWTime. And it seems like Maru wants to rehash game number 1. The proxy. This time, though, it's even closer. This time, the proxy is right outside the natural. So that Reaper's going to hit hard. It's going to hit fast. But before we get too deep, of course, into this game number 3, this final game in our series, I would like to remind you all that, well, you're watching this on a YouTube channel. That means that if you want the VODs of Maru, of Serral, of Beyond, of Max Packs, of all of these top level players, you should sub, because I put one up every single day of the week. And if you like what you see, and you've gotten to game 3, so I hope you do, make sure you hit that like button and tell me how you feel about ShoWTime, or drop an emoji. I don't care, just drop an emote. It really does help out quite a bit. Drop something. Let me know how you're feeling today. Regardless, though, this is a game where Maru, he's got that Reaper out very quickly. And ShoWTime, he got the scout. He sees that there's double gas, nothing in the wall. This is a, more likely than not, this is a proxy Reaper play. That's just how the build goes. That's how the meta goes. There's a slim world. There's a slim chance where Maru's going proxy Marauder, but that seems unlikely. So for now, the bunker's going down. And I love this bunker positioning, by the way. Now, a Zealot has to get deputized. And that, even the fact here that ShoWTime stopped for a Zealot before he moved into something else is kind of a win. But it does mean the bunker won't go up, and it does mean that there's no Zealot in the main, so the probes have to get pulled here. And now we get to see just how good ShoWTime's micro is. Can he keep all of his probes alive? For right now, one gets low. Maru thinks about dancing in, but here comes the adept. So ShoWTime, he keeps those probes alive. And that is not easy to do, certainly not against a player like Maru. And look at what ShoWTime's doing. He's immediately running onto the other side of the map with this Zealot. It seems like the adept is going to stay home, but on the off chance that Maru did decide to build his command center on the low ground, ShoWTime just wants to make sure that that is not something that will go unpunished. So Zealot runs across. It's a scout. Sees, okay, no command center on the low ground. And yeah, you know what? Would he have loved to have the stalkers across, or in this case, the depths across? Yeah, sure. But he's got to keep his base alive. So instead, he just makes sure that there is no way. Cancel the shade. Very, very good. Well done, ShoWTime. Just make sure that the command center is not overly greedy. That Maru is, again, not going to have his cake and eat it too. And ShoWTime's response out of this pressure. Now, first and foremost, he gets his Nexus before his Stargate. He's not delaying things quite as much as he did in that game number 1. So Stargate a little bit slower, but again, the Nexus is much faster. And this really should allow ShoWTime to have probably a nicer mid-game. You know, his economy will scale just a little bit faster. And on the flip side, though, we are seeing him going Phoenix. There are not going to be Oracles here. There's no pit stop for that one. Just Phoenix gives you please. It gives you that map control. It keeps you safe against a lot of pushes here. And, well, the Reaper's going to show up and says, okay, yeah, he's going to see the Phoenix, but it will fall anyways. What I want to point out, though, is Maru, off of this proxy Reaper opening, he got his second command center. Yeah, that's how you do it. There's a third command center. 2/3 of the way done here. This is not the 3 base 3 racks build that Beyond goes for. This is effectively just a 3 base 2-1-1. It's kind of middle of the road. You'll still get a fairly quick stim, but it's all about, well, I mean, the 6-7 minute stim timing is valid, But this is a build that gives Maru much more room into the mid game, again, at the expense of his tech. His starport is going to be a little bit slower right now because, of course, he's buying, well, Widow Mines and +1 and all of these other things. And you don't have money for everything. You build a third command center, you build gas-heavy units, you get your upgrades. Yeah, your starport is going to be a little bit slower. So that is something that Maru is going to have to deal with. Again, it will mean the Viking count, if he decides to go for a Viking heavy push, is going to be just a little bit slower, which is, again, harder against the Phoenix play, and certainly against this Phoenix Colossus idea. But on the flip side, as this is going to be Phoenix Colossus once again coming out of ShoWTime, if Maru does opt to go and just go for a big stim timing push, doesn't wait for medevacs, there's not going to be a lot on the ground for ShoWTime. Of course, that's not the game that's happening here. ShoWTime, I believe he saw the third base. No, he has not. So he doesn't quite know what's happening here. He knows there's double cyclone. He knows that there's a natural, but just how greedy Maru is being, that's kind of slipped under the radar for ShoWTime right now. So that means that ShoWTime's third base for Phoenix Colossus, let's be real, it's not that late. But given the fact that Maru has opted to be as greedy as he is, as develop his economy as fast as he is, well, ShoWTime does have to be careful because he's not going to have quite the room to trade improperly or to trade inefficiently as he might otherwise have. So for now, the Phoenix are on the map. We have our first Colossus out and that immediate Twilight behind. So Charge should be ready for this fight. Colossus as well. ShoWTime's getting ready for the presumptive timings. The Widow Mine. Okay, ShoWTime doesn't quite have the split there. He should kill the Widow Mine, but that's a Phoenix that is very low. Anyway, ShoWTime's getting ready for this presumptive push. Stim, combat shields. I mean, Stim's done. Combat shields on the way. +1 done. But it really is about this third timing. And ShoWTime, by the way, did finally see that. He's now aware of what Maru is doing. He's aware of that third base. I think he saw it floating over, actually. So now he knows, okay, Maru kind of got away with one here. He got that economy developed. And yeah, ShoWTime's up 9 workers, but let me tell you about the power of triple mules. It is very important. So now here we go. Maru gets active on the map behind that third base. Best defense is a good offense. And Phoenix, well, they're going to dive behind here. ShoWTime, a bit of a backstab. He's going to get 4 workers here. Just try to keep Maru back at home. The lock-ons are nice, and actually, they're going to be really good. They get a Phoenix. And ShoWTime, he thinks about circling back to get the lifts off, but it's just a little low. So now, Phoenix on the right side, they're out of the fight, and Maru now gets ready. He's got this army on the map. It's single Widow Mine, no Ravens. So it's not a ton of power against the Colossus that we have on the map. First one done, second one on the way. But it is something. It actually seems like ShoWTime, he felt so pressured that he had to just recall. Didn't want to get caught by the Cyclones. Wanted to make sure he had the Phoenix at home to make sure that any sort of pressure from Maru, whether it's drop pressure or just straight up the gullet, well, he has those Phoenix ready to defend. So he goes back up to 5. That magic number seems like ShoWTime isn't really playing the heavy Phoenix count that we saw about a year ago. But now he knows where the army of Maru is. He loses a pylon for it, but it's a pylon. It's going to supply block him a little bit, but he already had more on the way. And I think if you're ShoWTime, you'll gladly trade a pylon for knowledge of where your opponent's army is attacking, for what they're doing. So he loses a pylon. He keeps his 3 bases alive. He gets the Widow Mine in the middle of the map. That's nice. And +1 is halfway done. Extended Thermal Lands is done in 10 seconds here. And ShoWTime's, his army is about to get a lot more powerful. But Maru, we're starting to hit the point now where his army supply is going to start to skyrocket. And it's 8 minutes in. Maru hasn't put any effective pressure on the map, but he's got his 4th base on the way. His 4th base is going faster than ShoWTime's is. So this is a greedy game for Maru. We knew that from the start, but it's proving to be true as now Widow Mine drop into the natural here. Zealots are going to get on top, but the Widow Mines are going to burrow up anyways. 1 will fall. Widow Mine gets on top of a couple more Zealots. Going to get 1, it's going to get 2, but, well, Armory's done. So Widow Mines, they're not really going to get cleaned up easily, at least not until detection starts to truly arrive. Where is our detection? ShoWTime. Got a cannon on the way, but that feels late. These Widow Mines are going to go off again. And ShoWTime's aware of it. He's roughly got the timing, so he's just gonna pull the probes away. Phoenix. Do not. No. ShoWTime loses a Phoenix. You lose a stack a probe there, buddy. It's not worth losing the Phoenix like that. Widow Mines will die, but you got a Zealot, got 2 probes, and got a Phoenix there. I think he just overestimated the speed of the Observer. Underestimated the cooldown time of the Widow Mines, which is just not what you want. So ShoWTime continues to take a little bit of damage. Yeah, Maru's traded a little bit worse, but this is a game where both players are just, they're content to max out. They are content to take this game late. Maru stems down the ramp. He's going to get an Observer for his troubles for that scan. Nicely placed. But you want proof that Maru is okay with this game going another 10 minutes? Fusion Core halfway done, +1 air on the way, Ghost getting added in. We're gonna see Liberators getting added soon with Liberator range, and I love this from ShoWTime. He doesn't need air vision right now. He just wants to know where armies are. So you hallucinate a probe, you actually get 4 of them, and ShoWTime's just gonna stick him on the map. He just wants to know where the army is. You don't have to sack Zealots for it, although you kind of did anyways, and that's a great use of energy. It really is. You know your sentries are going to get, well, they're going to get EMP'd in the fight anyways, so might as well use them to just give you all the map control, all the vision possible. But Maru, he's got another Widowmine drop here. This time, though, the 5 Phoenix on the right side. They should deal with this thing for the most part. Lift on 1 Widowmine, not going to get the rest. Widowmine shot gets another Phoenix, and again, this Phoenix control has not been the most inspiring out of ShoWTime, unfortunately. It's solid, but you know, it could be worse. I talked about liking the hallucinations. Hallucinated Void Array is it's not it. Not quite what we're looking for there, ShoWTime. But yeah, you know, who am I to judge? He thinks this is just he's fighting a Skytoss late game. He needs to deal with Corruptors or something, and he wants to fake it out. But Maru, 5 command centers just about done. We are truly going to split map situation here. Extended Liberator range. Halfway done. 4 Liberators on the way. And ShoWTime is just not taking advantage of the doldrums of this game in the same way that Maru is. He's got, you know, he's gonna take another Widowmine shot that I think he knew was there. And now ShoWTime down upgrades. He's got 3-2 on the way. Blink, I feel like you need a Chrono this. I feel like ShoWTime really does need Blink to fight. Get on top of the Vikings and the Liberators, but, well, Blink's not done for another 20 seconds. So, again, the hallucinated probes. They see where the army is. Trigger a Widowmine. That's going to be very nice. And now we're maxed out. ShoWTime here, thinking like he maybe wants to pull the trigger. Scan gets dropped. Doesn't see a single Observer. But half the army of ShoWTime a little bit out of position. No Stalkers here. No anti-air. So the Liberators, they're going to siege up with that range. Blink done in 10 seconds. ShoWTime, it feels like he's just not ready yet. Disruptors, they're not where they need to be. And ShoWTime, well, the Disruptors, they're good, I guess, but they're not enough here. Maru kites backwards desperately. These Liberators, the Ghosts, the EMPs, before Blink was ready, are going to do everything. And in a game where ShoWTime could have whatever the hell he wanted in this game, he doesn't get enough. Maru played the greedy game, and ShoWTime did not have the read. He didn't play greedy enough. And now this is a ShoWTime that's going to lose his base, and a Maru that had 7. So at the end of the day, it was all down to that one fight, but it was Maru who understood the way the game was going. He played into the late game faster, and ShoWTime just wasn't ready. He wasn't positioned well. He didn't have that blink done, and Maru, really a mental game. He takes game 3, he takes the series, and cements himself in 2nd place, actually in 3rd place here in Group A.